I thought I'd give you an update on the 2017 project that has evolved into a regional initiative. Um, the Minister of the Environment was here last 2 weeks ago, and Linda, our warden, was able to attend the dinner as well as the presentation that took place on Saturday afternoon, and it seemed to be received favorably, from what I understand. And the document that was presented to her focuses on Fort Anne and the habitation and the redevelopment of those two sites, mainly Fort Anne, retelling the story on a larger scale in association with Canada's history and evolution. And as part of that is a regional cultural initiative that is would spread out from that, and the sort of threading of association with Fort Anne would be through the multicultural aspects of our communities. And so from that sort of guide, I've gone to the communities and created a list of sort of potential projects, and I've also shortlisted the initial projects down to the New France settlement development, where the province and the federal government and potentially ourselves could really do something with that site. They want to develop it into a park, a day park, potentially. There is a lot of that story that could be presented in very interesting ways, and this legacy fund could be a part of that. And I'll be speaking with Rod Lafort. Need a sort of a business plan from them, and I know that that's something that is in the future. Also, I've been in contact and with First Nations here in Bear River, and there's a project that they're conducting there called Seven Paddles, and it's a very good tie-in to this cultural initiative. It's opening the traditional route between Bear River and Keji, which went through various different biospheres that would provide food and supplies as they traveled, and in particularly during certain times of year, they would stay in particular places where they knew there was good fishing or hunting, or berries were plentiful, whatever they would the time of year it was. It's sort of based on teachings of their what they call it, seven sacred teachings, which is, I guess you would say, Mi'kmaq's Ten Commandments in a sense. It's about how to live. And it's an intriguing project that would initially start out as a community learning experience and then evolve into a visitor experiential experience, where like a tourism product in itself. And that's it's a project that they're actually currently trying to get funding for. Another project is the Weymouth Falls Black Cultural Center. This is the Sam Langford Hall. It had some issues about 6-7 years ago with the community, and they tried to resurrect it, or open it up again, and had some legal issues. The communities come together and resolved all those issues and formed a new nonprofit group, and they're interested in opening that back up to the community, and making it a senior activity, a wellness center, and a youth center where drumming and just sort of a place to sort of hang out as well. But they wanted to have actual programming in there. And in the past, it had a multicultural library, and they'd like to see that resurrected and brought back to the community. Currently, their youth program and seniors programs are done in the village of Weymouth when the facilities are available. They like to be able to bring that back to their community. Anyways, I've asked. They're also putting together a business plan on, what it's going to take to get that building, up to open status. It's got some mold issues. Alfred's been down. He's got a list of things, but he says it's repairable. It's an old schoolhouse as well, so it has underneath the, I think it's newer wooden shakes or whatever, are the old original clapboard siding that was on the building. And the newer windows that are there could be, potentially you could put in the same sort of profile look to it as it did when it was a school. It would give it more, I think, an aesthetic look to it as well. These are things that they're talking about. I see that as a potentially another project that could be added to our list of ones that we would support and pursue funding through this larger initiative. And the other is something that I've brought up with this group, and I've presented here back in '06, was the Fundy Title Sculpture Project. They're very interested in doing this in Annapolis, and I think it's something that maybe we should be seriously looking at, and trying to get a price on this stuff. It's primarily, I think, something that, if done right, it could be a major draw in itself, because it is an experience about time and tide, and the life, coastal life, and it pays respect to human work on the sea, and that I think would be good for. As a lure piece in maybe the town or along the Fundy shore, or that somewhere where it could be accessible and appreciated. And what we would learn from that project could be carried on into things like the 7 paddles as well as the New France. The process that we looked at for the Fundy sculpture was a 3D lasering of a model and scaling it up to the size you want to do it, and creating the sculpture piece out of marine concrete. That process could be transferred to other pieces that could be applied to the, say, New France or the 7 paddles, actual sculpture in the woods, and as part of the interpretive parts, right? It's common in the States. I saw a lot of it down in the North Carolina. They that's exactly how they do it. They 3D scan a person, and then they create a life-size scaled sculpture out of that person, out of almost plastic. It's very durable, and it's the detail is to the point that the sculpture piece, you can tell they have denim on, like they have jeans on, and you can cotton, and if they had wool on, you could tell that it was wool. It's to that level of detail. This technology is available in Canada now. It wasn't, I think, in '06 when we were looking at this. Price-wise, it should be better, I would assume. But they're the 4 projects that I think culturally, because it's covering a lot of ground. However,
The tour that I mentioned to the minister was the 7 paddles, was the same Langford Center, New France, and then I brought up about the Acaciaville Betterment of Society.
Yes, okay,
And
yep.
they're wanting a thing. She in my opinion, the minister was the most excited about the 7 paddles.
Yeah,
She
probably.
liked it all, but you could tell from her reaction when I was talking about 7 paddles, that really came home to her.
Oh, yeah.
Probably just because of her heritage.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say she's going to approve any, but she was excited about all the presentations. But you could tell, like after you left, because I thought you were going to talk, so I talked instead, and then I got to talk to the minister previous to dinner, then I set the table with her at dinner. You know, she thought, you know, that we are on the right track.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mike seemed to think that she was very positive.
Oh, yeah.
That the process is really to get her to have that document that was presented to her to go to cabinet to get their support to help support the foreign media consultant firm to come in and actually do up a regional plan for this. And that would be the Fort Ann redevelopment as well as projects such as these here. I'm not really sure what the deadline is on that, but I believe they wanted to do it sometime this winter.
Yes.
Yeah. We haven't met since then, so I haven't been briefed on her stay. I can touch, that's pretty much it as far as an update on the 2017. This year, just to make note of 2017-ish other projects, Flag Day this year will mark their Maple Leaf Flag's 50th anniversary, and organizing a sort of a bigger than usual flag raising ceremony at Digby Regional High School. February 13th, it's a Friday afternoon at 2. We've invited the premier, but he didn't say no. So I did request that his office send the invitation to the Heritage Minister, Tony Ince, and that was done. And I haven't heard back from his office yet. Let's see. The Legion float, I've been collecting material for that, going to the Legions and collecting the World War I images. The Bear River project, met with the community as well as the artists and gave them a layout of timelines to meet. That was helpful because it gave us a discussion.
Jimmy has a question.
Oh, yeah.
In regards to the center in Weymouth, back in Weymouth, Sam Langford.
Oh, yeah.
You said that they wanted to have a drumming, something to do with drumming there?
Yeah, I think they're doing that now, but they're doing it in town.
No, but I guess what I was going to say is that just keep in mind that Minister Ince is the drummer.
Oh, okay.
Who?
The minister, Tony Ince, he's also a drummer, like a African drummer.
Oh.
I found that out when I went to the library board conference. He's the minister of libraries as well, and he mentioned it at that meeting. And so just keep in mind, so you may have somebody there supportive that you may want to talk to when it comes to trying to do something with drumming back there.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, when the minister, that's one of his passions.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Continue, we have a provincial meeting next week with regards to the 2015 Heritage Conference that we're hosting here in September 2015. It's a preliminary one to sort of establish a theme and look at potential guest speakers, potential tours, a layout of the sort of 3 days. Yeah, the Bear River, like I mentioned before, the Bear River site, met with Joe Crow. he was very helpful and gave his support in as far as like installation of the wayfinding signs and removal of some directional signs and newer signs, directional signs put up in that intersection. We wanted to clean the area up a little bit of signage, and he seemed to be in support of that. So all I got to do now is convince Brian otherwise. So Brian wasn't able to make that meeting, which was unfortunate, but I'll have to get him on site because there's some issues there that we need his thoughts on. And so that's yet to happen. I'm developing a sign that I'll pass around. It's this site development, and it's something that we would put on the site for people to see that there is going to be something going on there with a little diagram of the parking area and that sort of thing. And that way maybe the Board of Trade will get some feedback from the community on this project. But it seems to be like the community is well informed on what's happening there. And they're very excited. The meetings have gone well. I was concerned that the level of volunteer was so high that may be difficult to maintain, but they said, nope, they're going to do it. So it's a lot of labor. It's a lot, yeah. It's a major buy-in as far as sweat on their end. Ma Lewis, the Maple Nuts, I thought did a pretty good job this year. It didn't really need much watering, so it's not really going to cost us as much, I guess, it did the year before. The perennials seem to be flourishing and doing rather well. So we didn't buy a lot of flowers, and to make it look more colorful like we did the year before. I think they recommend some mulch being put down and the strip, the bed that runs along the pathway to the building itself. Other than that, they had some animal issues, eating flowers and other than that, I thought they did a good job, and they're meeting tomorrow night to decide whether they want to do it again next year, and I think they will. But we'll find out, I guess, soon. The rural church program, that's going, that's starting to really roll out. It's been a couple of, we started in 2012. By the time these volunteer organizations get their projects together, they're just starting to roll out now. The Freeport Church spent about $17,000 this year, and they received some insurance money and provincial money and our money as well. They were basically said they couldn't have done what they did without our support. They're sending a thank you letter, I guess, to council. To date, whereas today, I guess, we've given out $13,600 out of that fund. But there are a number of projects that I was aware of to be done this year that are either going to finish up in the next week or so because it's going to get too cold, or there has been a request to actually postpone until next spring because the person they had planned on doing it can't do it. So it's sort of that type of scenario. However, it's going over well. Our municipal registered. Sorry?
What year are we in on that project?
It's done 2016. At the March 2017, actually, March 31st, 2017. That's
They're hoping it goes longer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
No, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
some of them have already mentioned it.
Oh, have they?
Like to
Oh,
see it
okay.
go longer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
It's a good
probably.
thing.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. Yeah. It's probably one of the better ways to put municipal money because it is the nonprofit groups. They're not, it's churches. There's high-profile buildings, and have them look good with our plaque on them. It's just reflective upon our values, towards the heritage buildings. I don't have this down here, but I can give you a quick update. There's a municipal heritage building in Bear River that the Board of Trade and myself have been trying to get fixed up. It's Mike Susnick's old building. It's Carol Jones owns it. She's doesn't live in this country. And there were some issue with another property she had in Bear River. It was next door to a unsightly and dangerous property that was resolved 2 years ago now. But she was pending on selling that property to fix this one up. She's done that, but she still hasn't fixed this one up. Her explanation is that she took such a bad hit during the last recession that the funds aren't there. So she has indicated she's coming here in May, and we're going to be meeting with her to go over the immediate issues with the building. Between now and then, I'm still hoping to build bridges rather than burn them, but we do have legal action if we wish to take it. But that may be more counterproductive and costly, but it's something that's just got to be resolved. I was there today and took photos, and I'm going to send them to her. And I mean, there's things falling off. Birds are living in it. Animals are living in this building, and it's
When they come up to unsightly.
pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because when it comes
That's
to
a
dangerous
terrible shame.
unsightly, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, what I'll do in the email with the pictures that I send her, if it's already, I don't know if I need a motion here, I'm not really sure, but to actually remove the plaque and say, when you fix it up, we're going to put it back on. Just as a
Doesn't
way.
that have to come from the Heritage Committee? And then
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
They,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
they would bring it to us and we can make that motion.
Yeah.
So you're not suggesting that we take it off as a heritage property, just remove the plaque?
Yeah. As a more symbolic, I'd have to tell her this could happen, that this is the issue, trying to get her to take this very, very, very seriously. The photos I have, I think she understands the situation. It's the photos, it's a beautiful community, and you take a picture, and it's like, the streetscape. You take a picture of the streetscape, and it's just this sore thumb sticking out, and it's right downtown, and it's a heritage, technically a heritage
It's a
property.
lovely spot. If it was kept up, it's a more beautiful location, hard to find in the province, I would think.
Unbelievable.
Where it is, yeah,
Mm.
unbelievable.
It is. It's really not. Yeah, beautiful. And she has done work to it, no question about it, structurally, to keep it up, because it was, I think there was some issue there, Alfred was telling me, in the stilts that she had corrected and put new in. And the roof was repaired and new windows were put on. I mean, when she did buy it, she did spend some money on it. But she's neglected it since, and it shows. And anyways.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's, I think other than that, that's primarily it.
Any questions? Rob, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Yeah, that's all I have.
Appreciate your time.
That's good. You're welcome. Thank you.
I hear everyone had fun at the bowling,
Yeah.
even if it was fixed.
It
Well,
was-
that's the rumor, that it was fixed. because,
You brought in a
somebody
ringer?
sitting beside me
You're not
was
looking
the
at the winning
captain.
team. He's the winning team.
No, but I hear that they fixed it thinking they'd be the winning team. Is that true?
No. Not true at all.
Admit it.
I had no idea.
Oh, that's not-
I had no idea how the score and the math was put together on that. I mean, there was a handicap that was attributed, and this is sort of how it sort of ended up. But
Oh, is that right?
yeah,
Well,
it may have been. I'm just sort of wondering about the handicap. Maybe it should have been
probably too
more.
high for them,
Too low.
too high. You know, when you have top dog, you
Yeah.
low handicap.
Uh-huh. Anyways, it was fun.
They had a good time. I'm sorry I missed it. I was there in spirit.
Yeah. No, I think Bill had a good time.
Well, I was told by the little one in the building department, she said, my God, can he ever throw a ball?
Oh yeah. Sometimes they actually do hit the lane there. I mean, you can throw them. It's very, yeah.
But as long as everyone had a good time and it was good turnout, I appreciate the work you're doing.
Well, no,
Thank
you're welcome. No, I had fun too. Okay. That's it.
All righty. Now, the next is the minutes of September 22nd.
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Oh,
Yes,
There's a mistake, so I just wanted to clarify.
we can. Now it's on the
Yeah.
table.
Under committee of the whole recommendations, under number 1, non-disclosure agreement, if you read it, the mistake is that there's a word missing. The way it's worded, it says moved and seconded to approve the recommendation giving permission for the warden and CAO of the municipality of the district of to sign the mutual agreement. You should have the district of Digby to sign the mutual confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. I'm only being picky because this is in record after, you see it?
Yep.
oh my.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye. Oh, sorry for yawning.
Contrary minded, motion carries.
Yawning
Thank
there.
you for your happiness there, David. Old business arising. Counselor Manzer.
Yeah, but last spring we had Kevin Lombard come up from Weymouth looking for a letter of support. How close are we to doing something about it? Like,
That's regarding the ATV.
ATV use of the highway, yeah.
We have the executive director of the Nova Scotia ATV Association actually coming to our November 17th Committee of the Whole
okay,
meeting.
yeah. I know he was
And
planning on coming sometime this fall, but I just didn't know
It's
how
been,
close it was.
yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge
Yeah.
coordinating schedules, so that's
Good.
when they're coming. But the letter of support was actually specifically regarding,
Usage of the road.
yes,
Which we
so
weren't
that's-
able to give.
which is, a letter of support. So that's what we're going to be talking to Barry Barnett about, is helping them. Anything they can do, they want to lobby for a change in the legislation, because right now, it's not under the legislation, so a letter of support isn't going to help. So that's part of what we're doing instead of doing the letter of support, is to work with the association to see what we can do to help.
Any other things? Counselor Tudor? Oh,
Just to add to that, after the presentation with Mr. Burnett, that's not to say council may not want to make a letter of support to the ATV Club of Nova Scotia in any legislative changes. You know, that may be the process we have to take. I don't know, but having him come here first is I think is important, because he's got to answer some questions for us.
okay.
And that's basically it. It's not them making a presentation to us, it's us actually having the
Doesn't
opportunity
matter.
to meet with them, and that was the best time that we could do that.
That was November
Part of the
17th,
meeting.
did you
It's
say?
at the Committee of the Whole. I think it's,
Committee of the Whole, November 17th.
I'm just going to write down that so I can think of some big questions.
Because at the last Weymouth Board of Trade meeting, there was a little note in there, some of them, in their minutes and stuff, that the council had refused to give them a letter. So I kind of said, we didn't refuse to give them a letter, we were working on, getting people to come down and do a presentation to us and stuff, so.
Yes, thank you for clearing that up.
Mm.
We haven't refused, but we.
No, no,
we
yeah,
just
I
can't.
just told him we
The
hadn't
difference
refused
between
it, we just
refused
hadn't,
and-
finished the process. Okay.
David?
For old business, no, I'm okay.
Jimmy?
Just, I know we brought it up last week, but I'll bring it up again in case you heard anything else new. Any more from DOT yet on the crosswalk signage?
Well, I thought I was out there last week, and they were out there working, and I said, oh, good, it's going up. And then I came back, and there was nothing.
Nothing there.
No, I had actually spoke on the phone with the area manager, and he's as frustrated as we are. They were there, and they actually did the conduit, but they've got all the wiring ready,
Yeah, I've
so
seen
it's
that.
just a matter of waiting for the actual lights to come in. And when I spoke to him Friday, he was going to call that department and try to get an answer for me, and he hasn't got back to me yet.
Last week, I thought he told you that they did have
Any
it.
day now. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he said he hoped it would be any day.
Oh, okay.
We'll have a contest whose lights will come on first, or if my fairy lights or your sidewalk lights. I'm gonna put a bet on you. On that one.
Can you send us an email out on that whenever you find out more?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And when we're talking about lights, can I ask also, like, I noticed when I read the package that the Black and McDonald are not gonna have our lights installed till the end of January?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, and I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Terry about it because of him, he's been away. And I haven't had an email from Black McDonald, but there may be some issues with standards that Nova Scotia Power is applying to the installation of the light. That's over and above what we expected them to be. So they're trying to sort that out. That there may be extra wiring that Nova Scotia Power is
great.
requesting.
Oh,
But there's an issue that they don't do that for when they install their own light.
Right.
So why are they doing it? Why are they requiring us to do it? And
SOB.
so that's what they're trying to sort out before they get started. And of course, last week was rainy anyway.
Oh, I
so-
understand that, but when I saw that it would be till January, that's quite a ways away, and especially when you got places where you don't, streetlights have been out for quite a while.
Mhm, people start getting annoyed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of my things this week is to follow up with Terry. I mean, today was not a good day.
No,
It
no,
was
I
busy.
understand
To
that.
find out what they're, because they were trying to work on it because it affects a lot of other municipalities as well, not to mention the ones they've already installed.
And that's the second part of that question I wanted to ask. In the correspondence I read, they're saying that we don't own those
No,
lights?
no,
Oh,
what
are
we
we still
paid,
paying stranded asset fee on
we
them?
paid the $500 per light that we paid, or whatever it was a stranded asset fee. We don't own the light.
We don't own the lights.
So who owns the light?
Nova Scotia Power owns them.
How do they own?
They charge us
the light?
$500 for lights that they're keeping?
That's exactly it.
The new
It's
one.
The new one.
The new
The
ones they put
stranded
up,
asset
yeah.
fee. They were charging us a stranded asset fee on the old lights, which
Well,
were
then why
already
don't-
beyond, I mean, we've been fighting Nova Scotia
We
Power
can just
on that
decide
for
what we
months,
want.
But
or
that-
years.
But that bodes the question then, if that's the case, then why aren't they taking all the lights if they own them? Because why should we have to pay the disposal cost of the old lights on top of that?
I'm not arguing with you. I
No.
think, yeah, I totally
Doesn't
agree.
They make the rules, they don't
Well, I
want
think
them.
we need to,
We don't want
But
those
we've
follow
been
up on
fighting
it.
this battle, I mean, with them, and they haven't budged. I mean, that's the agreement we've signed with
Yeah.
them, you know.
but did the agreement say that they own those lights? Did it say
Their
that?
own, yeah, we didn't buy them.
I thought
it
we
was-
bought them. I'm
We would
sorry.
have no, yeah, no, we would have no, it would have been
Right,
$700 or
right.
$800 if we had bought them.
Well, for $200 more each, we could have sold them for probably $400 or $500 each. We're paying them $500 for them. Anyway, it's
I
just,
mean, that's the agreement that we signed.
but I guess,
Monopolies, man.
all right.
They're in driver's
I
seat.
guess my point
They
is,
do
if
what
that
they
was
want,
the case,
Monopoly, right?
that we had to pay them a $500 stranded asset fee, and we still didn't own the light. I thought we took ownership of all fixtures, and we paid a set stranded asset fee. So much for the old lights, so much for the new.
I thought that too.
But we own the lights.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was my understanding of the agreement. So,
That wasn't the,
You just misunderstood.
well, that's like a $10,000 misunderstanding then, or more.
the idea was, though, that those lights weren't
We understand that. We didn't want to keep them. That's why we didn't want to go out and outright buy them, to keep them there. So I guess the thing is, if they're gonna take back those lights because they own them,
Where's
then
the
why aren't
stranded
they taking
asset?
back all the old lights? Why can't we just tell them, why can't we
Well,
have
they are taking them all.
Black and McDonald's taking them down and they're gonna give them back to Nova Scotia Power?
They're taking them, yeah, all of them, yeah.
They're gonna take them. So we don't have to pay that. So in that stranded asset fee, that's gonna cover the cost of disposal?
That was included, yeah.
All
They
right.
should just drop them right next to the telephone pole, right there, and they can come and get them.
All right.
If you want to be that specific about the contractors, just toss it
I
in
mean,
a
I can double
pile.
check on that, on the disposal, but I mean, they're not gonna, the old lights are obviously having to dispose of, but
Well, there'd be a cost to
They own
disposal.
the
That's how
lights,
come
yeah.
I wanna know if it's included in the stranded asset.
I can't find that.
'Cause-
Because we did have a gentleman that was trying to take them apart.
yeah, but we don't wanna have to have the responsibility as a
No, there's no
municipality.
cost to us.
Still there, yeah.
No, that's what he does. Which one? Okay. The next is under new business, Nova Scotia Department of TIR, 3-year cost agreement for subdivision streets.
And this is just the standard renewal of the 3-year agreement, that for any, I don't think there's any left that we have to pay, but if there was, it was like or repave, it would be shared 50/50 with the province on
Is this the 10.4 kilometers that we have, or whatever it is, or?
No, this is
No, this
subdivision.
is the J-class roads or
Oh, okay.
subdivision roads.
I'm gonna make a motion that the warden be authorized to sign the cost share agreement number 2015-010.
I'll second that.
And then actually, it's the resolution of council. Yeah, then that's what you just said, right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Excuse me.
Motion carried. Okay. Next is the chief administrator's.
No, you have
Yeah,
two.
the
bid
funding
numbers
request.
to,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't write it down. David, would you go first, please?
Okay, everybody had a chance to read that letter, and I'll just read it over, I guess. The Municipality, Digby, it has come to our attention that there may be funds available to help organizations such as ours with the cost of a function. November 11th, Remembrance Day is fast approaching, and is our largest and most important function of the year. Everyone in our small community enjoys the event that honors our veterans. We host a church service and a wreath-laying ceremony, followed by a meet and greet and a dinner at our Legion. Have approximately 150 members and guests, 20 veterans, World War II, Silver Cross Mother, 10, 12 swordsmen from 14, Wayne Greenwood, and RCMP representative from Digby Detachment. Yearly, this event costs our organization approximately $400 to $600. Any amount this funding could be provided on this honorable occasion would be greatly appreciated. My thoughts on this is that we've had different groups request for helps on functions. As far as functions on the islands go, this is about as big as you'll get. It's everybody shows up from across the province. Lots of dignitaries, and every year there's a ceremony for the Silver Cross Mother and stuff like that. And
Which is the same as in Weymouth and
Mhm.
Digby.
yeah, actually, this is a little bit different than the past because now they do a combined function as opposed to 3 separate ones, one for Freeport, one for Tiverton, and one for Westport. So now everything is done at this function.
Jimmy?
I think it's a good cause because the Legions are struggling, but the only consideration I want to put out there or is that if we do it for this one, be prepared that there could be other requests come forward in the future, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Legions that we have to consider. So, but I mean, I think it's a good cause, and but I know that we all support the Legion through going and laying a wreath, and
And we buy the
and we
wreaths
buy
from
the
the
wreath.
Legion.
We buy the wreaths from
which
them
is
every
their
year.
fundraising.
But that's the only concern I have.
Well, my concern is it's like for dinner, and usually we don't sponsor for a group of dinner. You know, we-
I've seen us
activities.
do different celebrations, I guess you would say, throughout the years. This is very similar, I think.
That we would pay.
We're not paying the exact for the Legion. We're paying for the celebration they're doing. Like, we're not paying for, maybe another example would be the Meet a Wee, but we do give the money towards their fundraising.
What's Meet a Wee?
Oh, this is something we've given money to in the past. It wasn't a very good example, actually. Maybe a better one would be, I don't know. I can't.
With regards to giving monies to community groups, it's mainly been like through like Freeport Days or Weymouth Days or Cherry Carnival. Westport Day. We give a grant to the community to help with the those functions. We've never, to my knowledge, given money to a community group to put on a dinner, and that if the request had to come in from a Legion for help for an operations of the maintenance of a building or something like that, capital money, if they needed to put in a new exterior door or something and they needed help, those are the kind of things that community grant monies, that's the intent of the community grant money. I mean, like for putting money into a dinner, in the past anyway. I'm not saying in the future, but or we can't do it, but I'm just saying that presently we haven't done that.
An example, you said Freeport Days, that's the fire hall, and we're putting money towards a dinner, a parade. There's actually a few things. It's not as conceptually different as you might think. You're giving money to the fire department to put on a dinner and a parade. We're giving money to the Legion to put on a dinner.
If we're giving it to put on a dinner, then we need to look at that very strongly.
It
Because it's supposed to be for events.
does kind of open you up to any other community group that wants to put on a function, and, regardless of it's veterans or...
Which I fully respect. My father was a veteran.
Yeah, or seniors, or Boy Scouts, or Girl Guides, or,
There's any number of groups that we do give money to for
But not
stuff
for,
along these
but
lines.
not for dinner. We do a lot of community groups, like the Acacia Trail for insurance and stuff. But,
I mean, that's why we buy the wreaths.
yeah,
To make sure, but that's part of the...
Does that actually go to the local Legion, or does that go to Command?
It goes to the local one.
It goes to the
does.
local Legion.
Yeah, because I know the memberships go straight to
Doesn't it?
Command.
Doesn't it go to the local one?
Nope, they don't go to the local.
Some of it goes there.
So we're giving like $10
No,
per wreath or something to the Legion.
It's
The rest of it
$55 a wreath, isn't it? 50 a wreath. So, I mean,
with some portion of
like
that.
you were ordered for 3 on the island and 1 for Little River.
No, I have 3 in total they gave me. They didn't give me a 4th one.
You can get your Little River one?
No, nobody gave me one.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's still a 4th one. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that this sort of thing it's one of those institutions that there's few and far between that are like it, and they're all holding on by their fingernails. And they've never asked before, which has always been something to be sort of thrown out. This is something that they do try to raise some money with. There's no admission fee, but people certainly toss money into the jar. It's not the sort of thing you can charge an admission for, for the
See, we charge at the Digby Legion.
admission
Yeah.
for the veterans and all.
The veterans are free.
Okay.
But everybody else has to pay.
Well, everybody does essentially. I can't think of anyone not
And
doing
Bear,
That's how the dinner is paid for.
Bear River, the dinner, everybody pays except for the veterans there too.
Maybe I do pay. Maybe I just don't recall it.
how many people did it say? Like 20
100.
veterans and 150 people?
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
including about 20 veterans, 2 World War II.
I'm just gonna,
Jimmy?
I would just want to add that, I can't support monies going to a dinner. But I do support monies going to a Legion. If the Legion was to put in a request for funding, then
For a specific thing.
oh no, I guess my point is all the Legions are struggling. I think we all recognize the fact that they're all having issues. And say for example, when we did our budget for next year and when we did our community grant money, if we had a Legion that applied for $500, I'd have no qualms about helping them out. That could go.
Legions, yeah.
What's that?
All 4 Legions, same as we would a tourist bureau.
Right. We support.
That actually might be a real good idea moving forward to the next budget.
But I'd rather see us support giving each Legion a bit of money for their capital improvements or keeping the Legions going, then I would specifically, I could support that more than I could supporting just a function.
Would I like where this conversation's going. I wonder how we should go
Just,
forward with this.
My recommendation would be that the current request is not something that we've traditionally in the past been able to do, like funding a dinner, but encourage them to put in a request for capital funding for our next year's budget process. And, that would be looked upon favorably.
Okay. Yeah, I was chatting with
But
them, and
each
they were
one of us
asking,
needs
and I
to
thought,
tell
well, if they put on a parade for the fire department, maybe putting on a dinner for the fire. I maybe was thinking as an analogy there, but maybe.
What I'm gonna ask is, you're gonna speak to your Legion, George will speak to his Legion, Jim will speak to his, and I'll speak to mine.
Okay.
Because I want it to be fair, the same as we
Mhm.
do the fire department, the same as we look at the churches,
Oh, I know.
So we're looking at capital expenditures where they would be
expenditure.
spending something on improving
No,
the
I mean,
Legion.
Or
Sometimes-
operational costs to go towards, cover their operational costs, doesn't have to be capital. Capital would be, unless that's what you want, but lots of times we provide costs to help go against operational costs, like heat or
oil.
Yeah.
lights or things like that.
So
Or
do-
unless you
Well,
really
we could make it
specifically
an
want for
operational
capital.
grant, which,
Yeah,
we
that's
could,
what
we could do an operational grant, a fixed grant of, say, I'm throwing a number out just for the fun of it right now.
Yep.
We could do an operational grant, say, for example, for $500 for each Legion. That would be $2,000 in total.
Mhm.
Similar to what we do for our VICs, where we give a set fee for each one.
I really like that. It's a little something that we can toss in. We don't want to end up in a situation like, as you mentioned earlier, Claire, where they were in danger of completely losing their Legion, and they actually took over control of the building. I like the idea of the $500 going towards capital in light of the experience of Claire as opposed to operational.
It can be either. But there's-
Well, don't
An
quote-
operational / capital
Yeah,
grant
don't quote
for
me on
$500.
on the Claire one, but I'm quite sure Claire ended up having to step up to the plate
Mhm.
to help keep that going.
I think they actually own the
I think they do. I think they had to buy the building.
Yeah, they did.
Maybe doing a little now would preclude us from having to do a lot later. It would be a terrible blow to the islands for the
Well-
Legion to close. It would be awful.
I think it's proactive on our part by maybe approaching the Legions and.
Okay,
and-
I'll
and-
approach the Legion. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to Eric. I'll talk to him right away. And I'm sure
Require-
everybody else has their guy to talk
We're
to.
going to request
Okay,
a letter.
We would require a budget from them too.
Budget,
Oh, yeah.
requests, letter.
Do you want a dollar amount or just a request for funding for a grant?
Well, we haven't decided on the amount,
On the
so
amount,
just a
yeah.
request for funding. then we can-
Request for funding, and they have an idea of something they'd like.
And maybe it'd be more than 500, maybe it wouldn't.
Well-
Maybe we'll see what we all
We have to
agree
look
on,
at
but it's
all
certainly
that
one.
at that point.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the heart of that community.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. It all worked out wonderfully. Now I'll fill in Eric. Nothing right away, but hey, I
You want
started.
me to reply in writing to them, or are you going to?
You could reply in writing, but I also will, since they sent a letter, send a letter. I'll give a letter back, and plus I'll drop off the letter and speak to them. That sounds good? Yeah.
You don't want us to mail it then? Or-
Yeah, you can mail it, and I'll just
Yeah.
talk to them beforehand. There, that sounds fine.
The next new business was the Atlantic Mayors Association. And what has been brought to me is, first of all, Jim used to be a member of that, the previous warden. Wardens, like Annapolis County is involved in it, there's different wardens around the different municipalities, and they meet twice a year. They always meet in Halifax at least once, and then there's one of the other provinces. What they discuss is stuff that they do send on to the FCM. The FCM actually comes and attends the conference and the meetings, and is what's going on in our communities, how we can work together, things that will be a benefit. The cost is $775 a year to be a member. And they said if I wanted to come in for half a year, it would be $375. I think I'd rather start next year on the full thing. But I want to know how council feels, but I think that we should be at the table. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to their meetings. When I was the president for the union, that they had a meeting in Halifax, and excuse me, the mayor of Halifax hosts the meetings when it's there. They have representation from EI, New Brunswick and Newfoundland. I think it's worth for you to go for a year and see what you think of it. I don't know if it's something you don't maybe want to jump in with both feet and think it's something you're going to do permanently. Cause
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, I'd like to start.
But as long as you think there's a benefit
If there isn't,
right,
I can tell you, Morning Richie says it's a great, now whether I can go by somebody else, but that's who they suggested I talk to, and he thinks it's a good thing. He thinks it's a benefit to their county.
There's David Walker, I think, from Bridgewater.
Windsor, yeah, and Windsor was in it.
Paul Beasley from Windsor. So maybe if
It
you
was
talk to
Paul
those
that was
guys,
speaking to me.
okay. I'd support, you doing it for a year and then go from there and review it. See what you think, but through your expenses anyways, as a warden, it would cover it anyways.
Yeah, because the $775 covers the accommodation and meals. The way they spoke to me, that is covered in that $775.
It covers your accommodations and your meals?
Yeah, that's what I.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
I
with
read
that,
from
in
him.
light of that,
Okay.
For both trips?
I didn't know what the
Both-
money
like,
was for, but-
Both meetings? You can't go wrong.
I was
Plus
going
you
to read
know.
it, but that's how I read it.
No,
He
but-
said it covers the accommodations and meals, not the travel.
Yeah.
You know,
Still,
anything
you
to
get
facilitate-
to keep up those contacts with
Yeah.
your counterparts throughout the province.
St.
or-
John and
yeah,
whatnot.
so.
Anything that facilitates cooperation and people talking to each other and being on the ball when it comes to any sort of announcements or regional initiatives. Yeah, I'm interested. I think but as Jimmy said, I don't see why you wouldn't review it in a year. Maybe we should review more things in a year, these recurring things. But yeah, sounds good to me. It's always later you can go, it wasn't worth it.
What about Ronnie and Claire? Does he remember that?
I didn't ask Ronnie today, I didn't have time. They were telling me the different ones, but
Sweating. It's all right, Brendan.
Actually, I think, and originally when this started, the Atlantic Mayor's Congress, it started out like it was for larger municipalities.
now it's on to everybody.
Yeah, I think they've opened it up a bit, but it used to be you had to have I think you had to have a population of maybe 20,000 people, or 15 or 20,000. I can't remember now exactly, but it was quite high. And so at that time, when it was called the Atlantic Mayors Congress, it was mainly the mayors across, like the big mayors from across the Maritimes, or the Atlantic Canada, I should say. It wasn't opened up. I don't think originally it was even opened up to counties, but I think it was mainly mayors.
Oh, well, that's even more of a reason to join it. Letting the big guys conspire against us. Let's find out what's going on.
So could I have a motion on this?
Do you even need a
Or do I
motion?
need a
Can't-
motion, do I? Oh, okay, you don't need a motion, fine. So I will.
You've got it in, it's going to be next year that you're going to do it.
Included in the budget, for
Yeah.
budget deliberations.
And I'll get the stuff from Bob easily and I'll email you. The next, under Chief Administrative Officer's Report, to remind you, November the 3rd, there is no meeting here, but the ones that are going to the ICOE conference will be leaving on Monday. To the UNSM, you leave the next day. And
The UNSM, you
Friday.
leave on Tuesday, and it's that night the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because double check. I thought that.
Or unless you want to come earlier,
No.
at 1 o'clock to the
We do.
Ken Simpson's lecture series.
Oh, on people that fight with each other and how to get along better. That's the one I liked.
Hey.
Actually, I might come for that one. It's like 1 to 3. You're right. I
Yeah,
forgot
I
about
had
that.
to pre-register.
You had to pre-register for that, though.
You could still do it,
You can
probably.
probably
Okay.
still do it.
I went to it the last time, and to be honest, I was quite disappointed that there wasn't more municipal
Was
people
that the
there.
one you and I went to?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
Halifax.
that was in Halifax in the evening.
There was probably about a dozen municipal people there.
Yeah.
Oh, Ken Simpson.
Ken Simpson.
And that's on Tuesday, right? Not Monday.
No, it's Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Tuesday.
1, 2, 3, Ken Simpson. With, like, what, we got 3 historical societies that all dislike each other, you know, things like that. I really like that. I like a little bit of suggestions on how to deal with that.
November the 10th, we have committee of the whole at 4:30. Remember, the next day is Remembrance Day, so you'll be laying your wreaths.
11.
November the 12th at 6 o'clock, we have our planning advisory, which is myself, even if my name is spelled wrong, Councilors Adams and Tudor,
What time is that?
6 o'clock on the 12th. On the 17th at 6 o'clock is bylaw and policy
6?
at 6.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And council is on the 24th.
Just going to the discussion we had on the ATV, I guess that's the 10th and not the 17th, but
Oops, scratch that out. ATV.
if it's committee, and I'm pretty sure it's the committee.
Maybe the
of the whole.
holes again.
ATV letter guy. Letter presentation. Okay. Hoi.
Okay?
Yes, it's the 10th, for sure.
And then
Double snow, aren't we?
committee of the whole items were marked in.
Policy.
Capital projects. Oh, come on, stop it.
No, it's the 10th.
Why is this acting up? Special projects. Any questions or concerns? Okay.
Should motion for the receivables or payables?
For that piece, yeah.
I move $712,075.96.
I said I hadn't gotten to that.
Oh, I thought you said the. Sorry, my hearing. I don't know. I'm gonna blame it on something other than being.
You drank some coffee, didn't you?
I did. I had a couple earlier, and it's really good you stopped me, by the way.
Okay, so David has made a motion for September payables, the amount of $712,075.96. Someone like to second that motion?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the correspondence. Lobster Bass Association, thank you. Nova Scotia Agriculture, if I get it right, Animals Protection Act.
I'd like to toss something out in regards to that letter. Is it too late for me to write them? Because I was just thinking about the heavy correlation of children that abuse animals then that go on to commit more serious crimes. It's one of those hierarchy of criminal acts. And I was just wondering if that type of thought had gone into it. Just something I was thinking about. I wonder if it's too late.
I can't remember when the deadline was.
It's already happened, the deadline.
Okay.
But I wonder if I sent a little letter on
You can always write a letter. Never hurt.
Just something I've been thinking about.
Risk management considerations, fire safety. Where's the last one? Any questions? Okay. The next was the standing committees. There was no recommendation from the bylaw and policy. The next was the committee of the whole recommendations that the 3-year contract for sidewalk and snow removal be awarded to Ricky Pulley.
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Number 2, that $613.10 be written off on property taxes at 1155 Lighthouse Road, Bayview, due to the destruction by fire on June 7, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. that the funding request from the Acaciaville Valley Trail Society for $540.10 for insurance be approved.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. That the cleanup order for 59 Marsh Road, Brighton, be awarded to O&M Trucking.
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Advisory Committee reports, updates. Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee, the minutes of January 2014 are there. Any questions? Heritage Advisory Committee, Councilor Adams and Tudor, October 8th on approved minutes are there. I assume you guys are going to have a committee meeting soon?
No, we just had one, and essentially what he was discussing
So
was,
then why aren't your October, oh, never mind,
I'm not
never
the-
mind. This is October, never mind.
but,
I apologize. I was thinking it was last year. I was thinking, what is going on?
yeah, that's 10 months.
So was the plaque discussed at your heritage
Not the
meeting?
plaque, but there was other possibilities were discussed, like what were potential remedies, what she's saying, whether or not she's that just those sort of thoughts.
Okay.
You know, your typical thing. But no, the plaque wasn't mentioned.
All right.
But I think it's a good idea.
Next is Planning Advisory Committee, Warden Gregory, Councilor Adams and Tudor. We are going to have a meeting in November on the 12th. We have not been meeting for a few months. Joint RCMP Advisory Board was Warden Gregory and Councilor Adams. There's not been a meeting since our last meeting. REMO Advisory Committee, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
No meeting.
Western Regional Housing Authority, Richard Fitzgerald. There has been no report. That's due soon.
It's overdue. I've contacted them and I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Regional Joint Committee reports. Age-friendly community planning, Councilor Adams. We have here. Airport Working Group, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councilor Adams.
There's been no meeting, but I have a question for our deputy CAO. I noticed in the report that the asphalt hasn't been done yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Today had been the most recent updated date we were giving due to the weather today. I would be very surprised if we saw asphalt. We are certainly hoping today. I am involved in two, ours included, rather large projects in the area, waiting for asphalt from this company. They have not been running their plant regularly, so when they went to start it up in late September to do these projects, they suffered some, capital damage that delayed their progress, and then the weather has impacted.
Is there still an intent to do it?
There
before-
still is intent to do it, and we still are optimistic for this week.
All right, thank you.
The Bay of Fundy Marine Transportation Association, myself, BSI GA Plan, Blue Star Ithaca Sale Report. I will say that a press release has come out stating that the province has bought the money, The federal province has bought the ferry.
Too much tea.
Now, yeah, not enough. The one thing I did receive today was they have to change the electrical system because it's hooked up for 230, which is European. It's got to be changed to 110. The boat is to be ready by 2015. One of our things that we wanted them to do was a competition for naming the ferry, and they are going to do it. That didn't mean we got them to do it. It just meant that was one of our
Then the plan is
suggestions.
to-
And they are going to be doing that, so there is going to be a contest.
So this was the ferry in the picture we saw a couple
Yes.
weeks ago?
That was it then.
Yes, that was the ferry. So,
Front page here. This might be it. It was the headline, right? You go like that.
might be, could be, should
Rumor has
be,
it.
would be.
Yeah.
So, they had the AGM. Maritza attended in my behalf, because I couldn't get away. Those minutes have not come out, so I cannot share them as of yet. And I wasn't there, so I can't report. I know there was presentations made. Next is Digby and Area Affordable Supportive Housing Group, Counselor Tudor. There's a September meeting note, state of the housing, address, homeless overview.
Interestingly, I missed this meeting because somebody was homeless. I actually had to get an old man who was kicked out of the the other one, the Island Manor. I had to load up all of his stuff, clean up his place, borrow a truck from Westport. See? Even though I'm a Freeporter, I got the Westport Village truck. And load up all of his stuff, and I had to take him up. And yes, there is a
So where
homeless
is he?
problem. I got him a place in Digby. I got him a place in Digby, and I also got him, now he's finally agreed to having somebody come in regularly and clean, so I've set that up as well, and the person's already been going.
Does he have pets?
Yeah, I do, and I've been checking, and he's actually keeping care of things, because this is the 4th time I've moved him, and, or might even be the 5th, I'm not entirely, well, there's no one else, man. But I feel like it sunk in a bit, and I'm keeping a real close eye. I've been popping in every time I have meetings. I didn't do it today, but next time I'm here, I've been popping in, checking on things, and I've got a real good person who's helping me out via the Good Neighbor program. She was going to do it for free. I just thought that was unfair, that she would do that for free, just for being decent, right? So I was able to hook her up with being paid for her services.
As long as the animals are being taken care
Well,
of.
the animals are being taken care of, being taken care of. Yes,
Well,
definitely.
we don't want the mess in the house.
Now, so I know that.
Okay.
I've been, I've been there 4 times since I moved him in, and it's way better than the other place. It was, my eyes were stinging while I was moving them. Let me just put it that way.
The next is the Digby Annapolis Development Corporation, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Counselor Tudor.
There's been no meeting in the past month.
Digby Area Learning Association, Counselor Manzer. June minutes.
June minutes, I sent the October minutes in, but I think I sent them a little late, yeah. But so we did have a meeting last week, but, and I forgot to send them Wednesday, so I think I sent them Friday or Saturday, and they didn't give me any time. So, pretty all business as usual. The coordinator, though, has been back on full-time, Gary Musgrave. He, last spring, he had gone off.
Yeah, on part-time.
75% or whatever, but they secured some more new funding and enough to bring him back full-time, so he's back for
Okay. Digby and Area Recreation Commission, Warden Gregory, Counselor Manzer, September minutes and October reports. The only thing that hasn't been done yet, we haven't, the evaluations are ready, I just haven't met with the committee just because of everything that's been happening, but I'm hoping to have that done and bringing into
Good.
our
They mentioned at the
November.
last meeting that they were wondering if it had been done and if all
Yeah.
the reports had been sent in. So.
So it's just, yeah, it is, it's just that I haven't been there to tell them. Any questions on those October reports? Okay. Digby Area Tourism Association, Counselor Manzer.
They had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and they had discussed about the meeting at the Pines the week before, and weren't really happy with, I guess, what transpired, at that meeting. Not much accomplished, I guess they said. So, but they were looking at trying to reintroduce what's called the 183 or 138 loop. When you come off the Yarmouth Ferry, you travel up the South Shore to about Liverpool, come across the number 8, and then down back to Digby or back down to Yarmouth. And one of the fellows at the trade or at the Board of Data said that they had that going about 7 or 8 years ago, and he said it was going good. Like, we get a lot of response, a lot of people traveling it. And then Halifax kind of pulled their funding from the board or from that program, or for whatever reason, they didn't say exactly, but they thought maybe it was because Halifax wasn't getting any of that traffic, any of that business. So then they, since then they've had other ones, but they're going to try and see if they can reintroduce that 138 or 183 loop in their advertising to try and, because the fellow said at the time that the South Shore was pleased, Liverpool, Annapolis, Digby area. It seemed to work well, but it didn't go over well with the big guys in the city. So,
It's a shame.
yeah, so they're gonna see what they can do about trying to get that back.
Jimmy?
In regards to the Tourism Association, what did they say about any impacts or positive impacts on the ferry service in Yarmouth for this area?
Just trying to think, there was somebody, there was like a lady from the island, from one of the whale watching tours. Mr. Barnes from out to the and then Digby Impact,
Where the
Digby
report is.
Backpackers Inn. I think July and August were up. May and June were slow. July and August were
But
they
did
didn't say.
did they attribute any of that, though, to the ferry?
Some of it, they talked to some of the, a lot of those people coming in, and some of them did come across on the ferry.
Okay.
And stuff like that, but they didn't see but normally July and August are their busiest months anyway, so,
No,
they
but
didn't see a big increase in their shoulder season.
I guess the next question I have, though, in regards to this tourism, because it's always bugged me, but how they don't work maybe closer together with Yarmouth. Okay, there's a boat in Yarmouth, there's a boat in Digby, and I know, yeah, you're trying to do things on the South Shore too, but I think the bulk of the people that come off that boat just drive right out of Yarmouth and go down the South Shore, and they're either staying in the South Shore or they go into Halifax.
Go right up to Vegas Cove.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like they go to the South Shore. And I don't see any promotion, advertising or anything down in Yarmouth to tell people to come to Digby, so I guess the thing is, no different than there's nothing here in Digby to tell people to go to Yarmouth. So I would think that the two associations should maybe start talking to each other and see whether or
Well,
not...
I think they would have to, if they're going to try and establish that 138 route, I mean, you've got to...
But that 138 route still takes people down the South Shore. Like, if they
Yeah.
could, if they could direct people at least to come this way, and then if they want to go to the South Shore...
No,
and
but
then go around,
or it could work 183, right? You could come up this way, go across, then down.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
that would be...
Well, either way, you're still,
Well, it'd be better because
No,
then
but
they
if
want
you,
to keep
if you
going.
can promote that loop like as a 2 or 3 day tour, come off the Yarmouth Ferry, spend 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
South Shore 1 day. There's enough things to do in Digby and Annapolis area. You could spend 2 days. You got
Oh, for sure, but I guess...
sports, you got the gardens, you got the theme park, you got
Yeah. I'm not trying
whale
to...
watching, you got the the golfing. There's enough things to keep people in this area for 2 or 3 days.
There is here,
Yeah.
and I agree. But that's why I'm almost thinking, why aren't they trying to
And there
directly
could be more
promote this area?
promotion to get
I mean,
them
like-
here first. Yeah.
It's all well and good to piggyback with other communities on trying to keep people in Western Nova Scotia. I think that's an excellent idea to do that. But I think they really need to work hard to try to get them to come up here first. Because when they go to the South Shore, for the most part, they keep going. They don't come up around that loop. It's going to be very...
Lunenburg.
They'll go to Lunenburg, they'll go to Chester, and
across.
they're not going to come down, they're not going to come across Liverpool and go through the woods unless, there's got, the odd person might, but for the most part,
Then I guess they have to focus their attention on a little further afield, because right now, they're letting the province do the advertising outside the region to get the people here. And then once they get them here, they're trying to, get them to the area. So I guess more publicity on the boat or in Yarmouth would help.
well, I just, for the fun of it, I did this on purpose, but I went into the Tourist Bureau in Yarmouth this summer, and I went and looked at the stuff for Digby, and to tell you the truth, I wasn't impressed. Some of it was out of date, and some of it wasn't full the way it should be. Now, that may be a positive thing, maybe people picked it up, but it almost looked like it could have been in better condition than it was, and that was my observation of here. And it would be good somehow to try to maybe even get into that Tourist Bureau and have a better display of some type to promote this area. That's all.
I will mention that to the next, that
Yeah.
there was, somebody had gone in there and they didn't think it was.
Yeah. Don't mention any names.
No,
but
I'll just say that,
I think it could have been better than it was.
And it could have been, raised up the level of,
excuse me, but not only that, when you go to the tourist bureau down there, they got these different kiosks, and to find the one for the Digby area, it's stuck behind a kiosk, like it's not front and center. It's not in an area that's going to grab the tourist, like some of the other ones might.
That's
So,
interesting.
just if you ever happen to go into a tourist bureau, just have a look and see. I find that interesting. But you go to the one here on the Shore Road, and I think pretty well the whole provinces get pretty well even coverage when you go into that one. Now, I'm not saying they don't have stuff in the one in Yarmouth, but just the way it's
laid
displayed,
out.
we're buried on the back side of a unit. So,
Mm.
You didn't think about bringing that up?
hmm?
You didn't think about bringing that up?
Just
Why?
did.
No, but the tourist bureau, why is Digby over here?
Well, it's wasting my time talking to them about it.
But you never know.
So,
Or Gordon?
I may mention the Gordon next time I see it. See
Yeah,
him.
I think that's a good idea too.
Yeah, as far
That's, you know,
I have a couple things I'd like to mention just about the fair. Is this correct? Someone told me they have their own tourist association, the ferry does.
No.
Or is it that they have approved people they can talk to and work with by the province? I heard some very strange, conflicting information amongst the various tourist businesses in my area, centered mainly around very poor marketing, difficult to work with them. They wanted lots of money.
No, what they didn't want, they wouldn't take individual businesses' brochures on the boat, but they did take a lot of books about tourism Nova Scotia and all that.
Yeah.
I was on the boat this summer,
Hmm.
so I first in looked and saw what they had. What they had was very nice, but it was like, you know, the doers and dreamers and stuff like that. So yeah, that stuff's getting out there to the public. They just don't have a big board there with a bunch of individual accommodations brochures in it. They don't have anything like that on there. So, but one of the big things about the ferry service, while we're talking about it, one of the big complaints that I have is that where this government, and our government is funding it, you should have Nova Scotia products on board. And what I mean by that, and this is going to sound crass, but if you go to their bar, you can't buy a Nova Scotia pint of Keys, but you can buy a beer from Maine, or you can buy a beer from Germany, but you can't buy Nova Scotia beer on board. They don't have it. So I've already talked to the manager in Yarmouth about it, because he's a friend of mine, and he'd already heard that complaint from some other people as well. So they're going to try to do something about that. But my point is, if you're going to have a Nova Scotia supported boat, then put Nova Scotia products on it. So,
How long can they keep it up? $21 million, my God.
21, 26.
26 now? Oh, yeah,
Just
Yeah.
gave another 5.
And
Yeah,
then
that's right. I
they
forgot
still
about the
don't
other
know-
5.
And they still don't know what they're going to do about the boat, because there's been nothing decided on if they're going to have to pay for storage for the boat
Well,
or anything else.
You know what? They've got 40 people still working on the boat that they have just to keep the boat operating right there. There's 40 people.
But if they're all
Did Maine ever give that $5 million
they had a lot of
operating
foreign
credit?
workers.
They're all
They wouldn't be paying
Filipinos.
very much,
They're all
who didn't
Filipinos.
understand English.
Well, when I was on the boat, I didn't have a problem with the people, but I'm just saying they were not from Canada and they were not from the United States. I'll put it that way. There was some people from Eastern Europe.
So you can pay them is extremely low.
Well, it's the
I don't know.
Americans.
No, I would think that they'd have to pay the minimum wage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But I don't know about that because, no, it's not registered in either the United States or Canada. The boat's registered in, where is it? Down,
But what's happened to these millions of
Yeah.
dollars?
what?
Yeah, you got
Cheap.
Well,
Filipinos,
for
Eastern
operating
Europeans.
expenses.
start up costs, operating.
My gosh, I'm glad I'm not a cabinet minister who has that on my portfolio.
I mean, I'm supportive of the fact that the boat's there, and I know they got to keep it running for another year, just because year one, it was trying to get people educated to the fact that there was a service back there again. And most of the people that actually rode on the boat came from Massachusetts, and that's where they did most of their advertising, and that's why the provincial government gave them as much money as they did. They upfronted a lot of money to promote the service. That's what it was going for. The second most number of people that used the ferry service was from Nova Scotia. So one thing that they had on the radio last week, which I felt kind of disturbing, is they said, oh, they had 59,000 people come to Nova Scotia on the boat. That's not true. They had 59,000 people ride the ferry. going both ways. So that's coming and going. So anyway, I know that the company, their projections and their business case was to try to get 100,000 people the first year, and that they fell short of that. But they had a slow start, and they finished the season 3 weeks earlier than they planned on because they didn't have the reservations for it. But anyway, in saying that, hopefully by next year we can see better numbers. Because I mean, if we get better numbers on the boat, that's a benefit to the region up here as well. Especially if they can promote this area down there and get people, when you come off the boat, to drive up this shore instead of going to the south shore.
What I heard from just talking to the businesses that it was, they didn't start really showing, didn't really see anybody from the boat until August, and it was not a flood. It was how they put it, more of a trickle on this end. I don't know. That's just talking to people down in my area.
Well, they were like the most people that ever rode on the ferry in one day was 500. And I know the last day the ferry ran, they had 400 on board, just going to the States, 400 people the last day it ran. So that was a lot of people going back home that had summer homes up here, or it was people that were going to the States, and then maybe they were going to drive home. But the ridership wasn't doing too bad. Like, it was getting better.
You feel like the long-term
Well, when
positive?
I went across the boat, there were 300 people that got off and came into Nova Scotia, and there were just under that amount that went to the States. So they were getting between 200 and 300 on a run. Now, is that enough? I don't know.
I don't
think so.
Even number is.
Not 200-300.
They're not going to do it on 200 or 300 people. But anyway,
No.
that's my rant.
So it's an interesting thing to talk about.
Okay, the next is the Digby Development Agency, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
Well, we just met today. Our last couple meetings have been in preparation of getting ready to go to the ICOE conference, and I think we've got a really strong team going up for it. We went over the schedule today and determined who is going to go to which venue.
I'm on the best team.
Yeah.
I'm on the best team.
There's teams?
Well,
Yes, there's 3 teams, and I'm on the best team.
we'll find
And
out
Jeff's
whether
on the second team, and Jimmy's on the third team.
we'll see who brings what home. But anyway,
We'll see.
Well, it's not my fault the way it worked.
Let's see who brings home the bacon.
what we did is we invited Ronnie LeBlanc and Pam to come and join us. They were going to go to the conference, and they're going up with us as part of the DDA team. So we've got 9 people going in our team. So we've broken it up into 3 sub-teams. And
They hit everything.
well, what we're going to do is we're going to try to set up individual meetings with different companies that we feel that possibly would be attractive to this region. And there's 170 some companies that are registered for the conference. They also have a trade show, and in the trade show, Canada's got a pavilion there, and we're part of that pavilion. And there's 30 groups or companies that are in part of this, makes up the pavilion for Canada. And we're going to be taking some of our promotional material, the brochure that
What
was
about
done.
scallops? You
No,
bring anything
we
like
can't
that
afford. We
last
can't
time?
afford to take scallops for 1,200 people. So, anyway,
I remember it was just such a hit last time. You had them lining up. I wonder if there,
yeah, that's when you have a couple hundred people. Not.
I can give you
not
800.
1,200.
I can give you 100 pounds of periwinkles, but nobody would
That
want
don't
them.
cut it. But anyway, we've got these USB sticks, and they've got a lot of information on title, not just for here, but also for Nova Scotia. And we're going to be passing them out to people. We'll be discreet on who we give them to, because there's 1,200 delegates, and we got 250 sticks. So anyway, we're going to be careful on how we do it, but we're going to give it out strategically on, to try to get the biggest bang for the buck. And we've got brochures done, the Port of Digby brochures that were done a couple years ago. We've had them updated, and we're going to be having those to pass out as well. I'm looking forward to the conference. I'm thinking that there's a good opportunity there for us to try to sell Digby, and we'll give you an update when we get back on it.
As long as you remember who number 1 team is.
We'll see who's number one when you come back.
You're all
Who
confusing
who
me.
brings the
Terry
most
is-
money? Who brings the
I'm
most?
on Terry's
the
team.
most- the
I'm
most
on number
business?
one.
Who brings the most business back? We'll see.
Yeah, but I got Dan Harvey and Ben.
That's why they're number 3.
We'll see.
Ben is the negative plus for poor Ben.
I think we'll all do a good job, seriously.
I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say afterwards.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
The next is the Digby Harbor Association. I did not attend the meeting on Wednesday night because I was in Halifax, but I will say that we have a member taking a 6-month leave of absence, and that's John Souls, not member, staff member,
person.
taking a 6 leave
6-month leave.
6-month leave of absence. We had a celebration. We're going to have a celebration to attend the completion of the wharf project, and that's on Friday, November the 14th. There'll be a wharf tour at 4:30 and a light lunch at 5:15, and then Digby Fire Hall, there will be a guest speaker at 7 p.m. So the 7 p.m. is open to everyone, as far as I know, is not right, Jeff?
Yep.
So I'm letting council know now that you're invited to the 7 p.m. on November the 14th with Greg Kerr.
7 p.m.
Invitations will be coming, good.
Okay, 7 p.m. So we don't know where it is yet, or anything.
Yeah, it's at the fire hall.
Oh, oops.
Sorry,
Fire?
yeah, it's at the
Yep.
fire hall.
Okay. Fire hall. Digby.
But I wanted to make sure that that was out there now so that you can sort of put it in your
Greg
calendar
Kerr.
on November the 14th.
Gordon's right keen on us going, on me going on
Well,
us going.
I think it, it's good for us to display what we're doing. Also, Reg and our
Digby Fire Hall.
manager attended the Southwest Progressive Conservative Dinner. We've had the PWGSC engineer on site twice to discuss the boat launch. So that seems to be coming along. There's been draft letters sent there's been letters of support and letters sent to Transport Canada. No trespassing signs have been installed on the breakwater and documented. And that's pretty well, our parking lot is soon, if it isn't completed for new paving, it should soon be.
Waiting on the same paving the airport is.
Is that just the two jobs there?
Soon be.
Same truck.
So,
Excuse me.
I will say that we are really proud to what has gone on for our port. The wharf being completed, the paving being done, the being able to drop the fees a small amount for the owners, because we are paying the highest fees in the province, so we're trying to drop them down a little bit, but still, we have to have money to operate too. It's all coming together, and as a board member, I'm really proud to be on that board, because, we're all working together. We're all, and it's the staff. I mean, if the staff wasn't doing their job, we could dance till the cows come home.
How much money do we give to that?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
I come in, me being there.
That's it?
Wasn't that enough?
The hair toss.
No.
I was just curious.
No, we don't, we haven't given any money. We did before.
I was angling for my own harbors.
But, very, very well. It's a great, it's one of the good committees.
I think it is, yeah.
It really is. And even if I'm the only
agree.
female on there, I can hold my own.
Sexist bastard.
No, they're not.
Show them.
They're just afraid of me.
Show them what.
No, it's been a real good. The next is the Digby Library Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
No meeting.
Deputy Municipal Fire Association, Councilor Manzer.
They had a meeting in September, but,
Didn't tell you?
well,
That could be a lot.
yes, but then they canceled it and they didn't tell me they canceled it, so. So there was a meeting in September.
The
but
rough old
The next one I think is
committee.
December, January.
Okay.
It's definitely one of the rougher ones.
Highway 101 Task Force, Warden Gregory, Councilor Adams, the minutes are there. They were approved. I spoke on Yarmouth Radio this past week on our Highway 101, what's happening, where we're hoping to go. There is going to be a press, would you call it a press release? An announcement of some sort. We're not sure what
Where?
it is,
What day?
but we're not sure yet. It was supposed to be last Friday, but it got canceled.
Oh, I thought that was the 14th one was, November 14th. I thought that, you said Greg Kerr's going to be there. I thought
Yeah,
that
but
was
this is
the,
another one.
a different announcement.
Yes.
Well, that's not an announcement on the November 14th.
the other
is it?
harbor
That's,
No, no,
his
that's a
retirement.
celebration.
Celebration.
And you want a show of municipal support.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
I'm just saying that Greg Kerr is going to make an announcement. I don't know what it is. I have not been informed. It's just that it is
Good.
something good.
And it's harbor related,
And as soon
presumably.
as I know when, because it was canceled, the talk is it will be this Friday on Halloween. So we'll see.
Ooh,
I
I won't.
haven't seen anything yet. It'd be 3 o'clock, but
I won't be making it to that then.
No, you're going to be in Wolfville.
Well, I'm going to be going to Wolfville and driving straight home, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The
Not
next.
missing my babies dressed up as scary pumpkins.
King's Transit Authority, Warden Gregory, you have the July minutes and September reports, the October newsletter. At the meeting, it has been approved that, in the September and October reports, that we are getting our $33,000. What I did find out was they did not buy the tank that is down in Weymouth. It was bought by Southwest Nova. It was a donation from them. They said it's certainly our choice, but they're hoping that we're going to want to replace that with that money because it needs to be replaced.
How old a tank is it?
Since we opened 9 years, isn't it, Sid? 9 years?
And they're saying it has to be replaced already?
Because it was a single, it wasn't double, and, yeah, there's some problems with it. Needs to be replaced. So, there is going to be a letter forthcoming. Once the letter comes, we will put it on to council. But I just wanted to give you a heads up because we're addressing this tonight. They did have an in-camera meeting, which I was not privy to, also, up there. But the main talk was, first of all, our chair hasn't changed. There was talk there was going to be a change of the chair. It was discussed, our route is doing extremely well. Concern, though, is no bathroom breaks for the staff on the buses and that type of thing. That was brought up. They also brought up that the Annapolis route did worse on the east side and better on the west side, and normally it's the other way around. But they thought that was because there was some bus problems and that type of thing with their buses.
With regards to our route, did the manager say anything more about, any talks that he may have had with Annapolis County in regards to moving the bus to accommodate the
No.
schedule?
That was not mentioned at all.
Okay.
The only thing he mentioned about Annapolis Council is he felt that he had a very good relationship with them.
Well, he mentioned that when we met with him here,
Okay, well, that's what he mentioned at that
but
meeting.
he was
but
gonna
before he
contact
did
him.
that, we were going
To look at the numbers.
try to investigate, perhaps trying to locate a site in Digby where the bus could turn around and maybe follow,
Oh, okay.
and maybe follow up on,
Were we doing that, or he was doing that?
well, he was, but
I thought he
we
was.
thought, yeah, he was, but he was gonna find out who spoke to the person originally, and that maybe there might be inroads that we could do with speaking directly with the person that would maybe bring a more positive result to the question being asked.
I thought it was the last
Well, it was a,
manager. wrote to them?
No, it was actually it wasn't Ron Mullins, it was
Oh.
Dave
Oh, okay.
Burlington, the,
Okay.
Well, the business owners that we're talking about, the current manager stated that he was concerned about having the buses coming through his yard on a regular basis, and also he was concerned about liability.
well, that was what the issue was a number of years ago when he was first approached. But we thought maybe there may be, that we talked to them ourselves and maybe try to mitigate some of those
Issues?
concerns that he has. That there may be some give and take there that might make him a little more, it's easy to say no to a stranger, someone you don't know. Maybe if there's more personal discussion with the person, then there may be, we haven't closed that door yet, let's just say.
All right.
So once we do have anything official from that discussion, then perhaps, then the manager was going to speak with Annapolis County at that
So
point.
he hasn't done that yet then?
Well, not until we have it's no good trying to get them to talk about that, and if we don't have a spot in Deep Brook to,
Oh, okay, of course.
turn the bus around.
Little cart before the
That's big
horse.
enough to put 2 buses.
Now, also, if you looked at that newsletter, it really shows the riderships and the different things that's happening, so I just wanted to make sure you understood that.
Our ridership was down 40 people.
It's down 40
August,
people?
But it's up in September.
But it's up in September.
It was down for just 40 people. It wasn't a
And
big deal.
I brought forward and the manager agreed with me, that I think a lot of our improvement has got to do how we give 2 weeks free. in
You're so
December.
right.
And we do the 3-4 days. And one of the comments made was, well, I don't know how you can afford it.
We can't afford not to, is the better way to put it.
And that's what I
Shows
said.
in the end, right?
Oh, I pick up people hitchhiking going up to catch that, and on the way up, they're talking about how, I always ask when anyone mentions, and it's always, oh, I heard about it when they were giving free rides. And now I take it all the time, and things like that.
And those things aren't actually reflected in the revenue, because our revenue is still up as well, so
Hmm?
our revenue's up for September was 5 point.
We're doing it
Now,
for Christmas
what is-
again
what
this year,
is-
right?
What is hurting our revenue has been the cost of our old bus. And there is still some concerns with our old bus.
What did I just ask? I just say we do what?
Motor things.
Oh, we're still doing, yeah, are we still doing the December shopping?
Motor things, like, the heat, this and that, and, like he was explaining, it's, they're trying to run it at least once a week, because the sitting, it has troubles,
Yeah,
and, yeah. So he said that has been a cost to us.
Are we still doing the Christmas promotion like we did last year?
I would hope so.
Okay,
It's
just-
in our
It's in the
thing.
policy,
It's
so
in
Yeah,
our
I was
policy.
just checking.
But I told him that we feel that that's really, well, I told the group, not just the manager, that how we felt it was a good thing to give back. And I don't even think they do a free Christmas Eve, but that's their business, that's the core. The biggest thing that I thought was really nice for the core was the bus, one of the buses was used in Halifax for a commercial for England. And so it was wrapped in red. I said, I think they should have kept the wrap on. But no,
Yeah.
it was neat.
They took it right off.
Oh, yeah. It was a commercial for the wrap, but they, anyway, it was really
It wasn't a
neat.
commercial for the wrap.
Huh?
Commercial
It
for-
was a commercial, and they wrapped the bus
To make it,
to make it look like a British
Right.
bus.
right.
But you said it was a commercial for the wrap.
No, it was a commercial for something else. But I'm just saying, it was used in the commercial. And,
Did you get any money for it?
oh, yes. We got, I believe they told me $11,000.
Are you serious?
And then they paid for the driver's hotel and for the parking of the bus and all that stuff for the 3 or 4 days they were up there. It was really nice. Well, apparently, it was turned down by Halifax. And this is the second commercial we've done. The other one was very similar, for a different commercial. but this one was the one in
So
England.
we're the go-to buses for the commercials, huh?
Well,
Sounds all
you
right.
know,
Get it where we can, man.
and so the other thing that they're looking at for the Corps is the inventory control and fleet maintenance software, but it's a little bit more expensive than they thought, so King County's IT is trying to come up with a solution in their price range that then they will take care of, and, you know, the money will stay within the area. But, for that one, I was in Halifax, and I came down from Halifax, went to the meeting and went back to Halifax, just, you know.
Because you don't drive enough.
Well, I wanted to be there because I wanted to bring up about Jimmy's concern about the tank, and then when he says, oh no, the tank, we've already checked this out. And he's gonna email me the man's name and everything, because I want to know who they talked to, and telling me doesn't mean a thing. I need it in writing, so he's gonna send it to me, the same as a letter to Linda, which we will bring forward, because it's council's decision how council spends the money, but, the push is that we really need is the tank. Okay, on saying that, we will go on. Senior Safety Committee.
We meet next on, was it October 27th or November 17th? November 17th, I think it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Shared Services Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councilors Adams and Tudor.
There hasn't been a meeting,
Okay.
but we've, like Ben and myself and Linda and Tom met to get ready to do a presentation on what our shared service experience is here with the town.
Mhm.
And so we'll be doing that at the conference, if you want to attend the conference.
I'll come with my little noisemaker.
Excuse me? New.
All right, deer whistle.
New.
Can't hear
Dog
a deer
whistle. You can bring a dog whistle. I've heard deer whistles. You can hear the deer whistle. Next is Transport Declare.
They haven't had a meeting during the summer, but they do have one Wednesday night of this week.
I am told Clareton is done. Is that true?
I haven't heard.
Well,
I
they
haven't
came
heard
two
anything about
done.
They hired a manager,
Uh-huh.
but Clarendon still wants, when he was saying, like during the summer, I saw him a few times, and he said it was getting to be too much for him and he needed to back off a little bit.
Well, someone told me he was finished. That's why I was
But, you know,
asking.
he still wanted to kind of keep his hand in there a little bit, and so maybe he's changed.
He called me a
his
couple
mind.
weeks ago about something in regards, just like,
So I don't know if
individual
he's gonna let the
jobs, so still-
manager take over completely, or kind
we still
of
making phone
ease him
calls.
into it, or whatever. I know he still wanted some, you know, some control there, but
Okay.
maybe his health has got worse in the last month or two.
Uh,
So we have a
Like I
meeting,
said-
Wednesday night.
It was just, yeah, where I heard it, I thought I'd ask.
Yep.
The next is Todd Buteris, Councilor Manzer.
We didn't have a meeting in September because we had a retreat in the middle of September, a Friday and a Saturday, to kind of do some strategic planning and stuff, and we don't have the report back yet, or the woman, the leader was gonna take all that information back and compile it and put it together.
Find it useful?
We do have a meeting Wednesday afternoon.
When is that?
This
Is that a
month.
meeting or
No,
is
our
that
monthly,
another?
our monthly meeting,
Okay.
Wednesday.
Did you find the retreat useful?
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, it was
I'm hearing from our new,
very short. Friday.
representative, how wonderful it is.
Our new representative?
Alnor.
Al,
Awesome.
Al,
Eleanor?
Alnor.
yeah,
Eleanor.
he's really impressed, I do, truly. He sings the praises to me.
That's good.
Of the retreat, loved it.
Oh, and what's happening and meeting with them
He's
and,
excited about being on the board?
oh my,
Good.
yes, it's wonderful.
Awesome.
It's wonderful.
I was talking to a staff member of Tideview the other day, and the person told me that they'd met Eleanor,
Mhm.
and they were really impressed with him. So, you know, thinking, you know, he,
Both ways.
yeah, like he felt that, you know, he's very engaged and very interested.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I mean, this is his thing. I mean, the philosophy of Tideview is his philosophy.
yeah.
and it's just, I mean, the man is so excited.
So is he
know.
retired, semi-retired? Does he work somewhere? or-
He works,
Oh, okay.
but he's a consultant, so I don't know how, I know he goes away.
Okay.
He's also into cricket, just so you know that, and they went to a cricket match in Truro. You know, so I mean, that's something else he does do. I thought, when he told me he was going to cricket, I'm thinking, where are you going to cricket? But they have cricket in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Halifax, they have a couple teams,
Yeah.
at least one or two.
I'm not surprised, not in the city anyway.
Yep. So, Upper Clements Park, Counselor Adams is away, but I know the park is closed. But that's all I know. Waste,
We know the same amount.
It's close.
waste check, Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine. You have your AGM March 2013, June minutes and September reports, and the RFB Mobus Awards.
There hasn't been a board meeting,
No.
but we did, the warden and myself both attended a waste conference in Halifax from October the 15th to the 17th. And it was put on by the Atlantic Canada Waste Diversion Conference, sponsored by Solid Waste Association of North America, the Atlantic Canada chapter, and the Waste Resource Association of Nova Scotia. It was a really good conference, and it had a very full agenda, and I thought there was a lot of good discussions on, we talked about managing media coverage on waste issues, how to connect with the public using apps and the new tech. Actually, they're going to a web-based system now. They talked about recommendations for the collection and recycling of spent CFL bulbs in Nova Scotia, the advanced HHW diversion. Municipality of Guysboro's got a trailer where they do remote. They'll go out to the communities and pick up HHW.
HHWs?
Household hazardous waste,
Okay,
which I thought was really innovative, and it was something worth looking at.
that's interesting, yeah.
Because right now we have 3 HHW sites in our region, one here, one in Clare, and one in Yarmouth. But if we had a trailer that even covered the whole region and went out to the outlying communities, I think it would go a long way on making sure that you're going to divert this stuff out of the woods, basically.
You mean hazard waste like used oil and
Batteries,
paint?
used oil,
Paint,
paint,
batteries.
batteries.
There's more drop-offs on the wharfs. They have things for the liquids that people pour in.
Yeah, for the fishermen.
Yeah, for the fishermen. But oh no, everyone in the village uses it. There's no. But actually, so one person was taking the oil out of it and used it to heat a greenhouse over the winter. I mean, he invented like a drip thing, and it was kind of interesting, I thought. I want to breathe that in.
Okay, the next is the Western Counties Regional Library, Deputy Warden McAlpine, June board minutes.
There hasn't been a meeting this past month.
Western Regional Enterprise Network, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
The REN meeting took place on the 29th, and at that meeting, the provincial members that are now going to be on the oversight committee is Michelle Blinn, who's the regional manager for ERDT for the Western region. Jenny Chow, she's the director for regional development for Nova Scotia, ERDT. Mark Peck, he's the municipal advisor for Service Nova Scotia, or municipal affairs, I should say. And you got Rhonda McDougall, who's the director of investment readiness for Nova Scotia Business Inc. These people will all be sitting on the oversight committee when it meets. The oversight committee will meet about 4 times a year. A couple of those meetings may be by conference call or by video conferencing, so to cut down on travel. At the meeting, the initial meeting was to try to start to work on a process on how we're going to run a meeting, the chair, the vice chair, who that will be. We had discussion on whether or not any member could be the chair or vice chair. It was unanimous, I guess, that the chair should be a municipal official, not a provincial one. There was discussion on the vice chair, and that's going to be open for anybody. It could be a provincial or a municipal person. I personally was pushing to have it just for a provincial person, and my rationale behind that was the fact that they're equal partners. We want them to be treated as equal partners, and we want them. I wanted to make sure that they weren't just there thinking that they're just a funder and they're not going to participate. I wanted, like, by having them as vice chair.
Force their hand.
That's not to say that somebody from the province won't become the vice chair, but the way the motion went is that it could be either or. So, which is fine. I mean, I can live with that too. But I mean, I would have liked to have seen. I hope anyway. Then when the chair and vice chair is chosen, I'm hoping that somebody from the province can become the vice chair, just to add a little bit more to that. They talked about, like, locations are going to be moving the meetings around, so through the region for the REN oversight committee meetings, and what else? They talked about the process of putting the agenda together and what they were looking for. They talked about board communication and any announcements or correspondence any funder may wish to make as an announcement that is relevant to the business of the oversight committee and or the REN. Like, so they talked about how would you do it and who would do it. So there a lot of work was done on the agenda structure and setting up the meetings. So. Well, you gotta have to check on that. I don't know if we've done that or not. I don't know if you appointed me to be on that or not.
No, you were appointed just
On the interim,
the
yeah.
interim.
So if I was to be able to stay on that, then I'd have to be appointed by council to do that.
Okay, would someone like to appoint Deputy Warden McAlpine to be our liaison for the Western Regional Enterprise Network, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Okay.
Next is the Weymouth Doctor Recruiting Committee, Warden Gregory, Councilor Manzer. We have not had a meeting since our last meeting, though we are, just to remind you, going to be, I think, Councilor Manzer and myself, I don't know if it was the whole committee or just us two, that are being invited, and Linda, to the Christmas party to meet with the young doctor, or interns coming in, or students. But I haven't heard yet when. I'm saying,
Just a discussion I had with Ward and LeBlanc today, and there's some discussion about the fact that council has never officially requested that he be on the committee, the Raymond Doctor Recruiting Committee. That he hasn't officially been appointed by his committee, like by the kids council. He comes to the meeting.
Yeah.
So we've never really asked him officially, or their council, and the suggestion he made was maybe that they appoint two people to sit on the committee. Now, I won't say that it would be, I mean, hopefully it would be him, and he could do it, and maybe the council family would say Dan Hill. That would not really help them.
oh,
I think
certainly.
we should, at some point, we would.
I think that letter should go now.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion that we send a letter?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay.
Aye.
What we have just moved is that we're going to send us an invitation to Clare Council to have two municipal reps on, as well as their CAO. How do we do that?
Well, I mean, the CA or something.
Okay, just
They're
like,
not in the
okay. To our meeting. All right. Is there no other business? Oh, yes, there is. What am I saying? Is council reports. What am I thinking? George?
Okay, we'll make it fast. I attended the Tour de New France bike rally. I volunteered at that 3-4 weeks ago. They had 68 bikers, I think, take part in that day. So. Then our open spaces meeting at the Weymouth Legion in early October. Attended the Weymouth Fire Department dinner and awards a couple of weeks ago. And then the Yarmouth Fiscal Review meetings middle of last week. And then the other regular
Okay.
Can I ask
Yep. Oh, certainly.
a question? How was the attendance for the fiscal review meeting in Yarmouth?
Good. I think we broke into 3 sections, and there was maybe 10 or 11 in each group.
Okay,
So, it was, probably 30, 33, 34.
that's good.
David?
I was busy and I had to be busier.
Okay.
Yep.
Jimmy?
Me? Well, I attended LBAN's conference, Library Board Association of Nova Scotia up in Amherst. I'm just going to rattle off what I've done in the last month. I had a PBSE Quality and Client Services Committee meeting on the 24th. I'm the chair of that, and I like that meeting. I like that committee of the committees that they have at PBSE, because that's where most of the meat's done, like most of the work, as far as rolling out initiatives and programs and stuff. I did attend the REN meeting in Argyle on the 29th, Open Spaces session in Bear River on the 1st. I attended the opening ceremonies on behalf of the warden at Pines on the 8th to bring greetings to the AMA on behalf of the municipality. Attended that waste conference on the 15th to 17th, and I had a PBSE board meeting last Friday on the 24th, and from that meeting I became the vice chair of it, so anyway. That's it.
Congratulations.
Okay. Since our last council meeting, I attended the Digby East Fish and Game meeting, where we're still discussing on how to improve and do activities. There has been a committee struck that our MLA is on with 4 members on what they can do, and they're going to bring it back to the main committee. They meet on the last Sunday of the month. I attended the DU dinner, that wasn't really council, but it was, Ritz and I went anyway, and we had a good time. I won a book. Ducks Unlimited. I'm just saying I attended the dinner, even though that wasn't a council thing, we went. And as for her, in her area, and I went with a good time. And I had a good time. Blew lots of money.
Any ducks?
On
Blew away some
everything.
ducks, what?
On everything.
Did you get any ducks to bring home?
No.
Oh, excuse me, Auntie's little, sorry.
The next, I had our public meeting in Gulliver's Cove, where there was 12,
I think you had
14
more than
people.
that. 15, 16, I think. By the time you had stragglers more than the other
Yes,
ones
yes,
did,
yes.
but
So, yes.
people kind of did keep filtering in there.
So we had, yes, about 16 people. I thought the meeting went very well. People enjoyed it. So that went over well. Then I went to the Aquaculture and Future Inn for Nova Scotia, where they're still working on their codes and what's coming. They have invited cooks before, and they've always been turned down, but they're going to ask them again. Because I said, that's our area, and they, even though they're a New Brunswick company, they are Nova Scotian.
Oh, yeah.
I think they should be in part of it. I think it would make a big difference. I attended the Fireman's Banquet in Weymouth, and there was a man there with 50-some years service. Another one with 50 years service. I actually, we only gave a 50-year, but the guy with the 51 years, I'm going to make sure a certificate is sent to him, because we didn't realize some of these people, they only do a banquet every 5 years. So they had 38 years in, they had, I'm going to get certificates made for those 6 people, because they'll never receive one from us otherwise. And even though it's off years.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was so impressed with, they had a woman fireman since the 70s. And when I say that, you didn't see women firemen.
My
back
mother
in
wanted to
the
be a fireman,
70s.
and she was told all through school, that's a man's job, don't be ridiculous.
But I was just...
Still mad about it.
I mean, I was just impressed that she has been a fireman with the Weymouth Fire Department all those years.
Right on.
You know, and again, that was another one because of her off years. So I was really, really pleased with that. I attended the Digby Pines to the tourism stakeholder. It's a regional partnership model for tourism in Southwest Nova. I personally found it a good meeting because they were asking us what we thought. And they showed us 3 models and what did we think about them, give our opinions on each one. I personally expected them to hear us. I didn't want them to come down and say, this is what it's going to be, and take it and shove it and whatever. So I was really pleased on that. I then attended the SWANA and Waste Reduction of Nova Scotia Conference, which was very good. I attended the Recreation Conference this past week, and I attended a social media workshop on the weekend. Again, not council, but it was so helpful because even though we learned it here, I didn't learn very well. Crappy. And you know what? The facilitators didn't kill me or nothing. They kept telling the others. Now remember, we have 3 levels of people in this group. We have our starters, and there's 2 of us. We have our mediums. But I mean, it worked out really, really well. I understand a lot more than what I did.
Can you tweet yet?
Yes, I actually think now I can get it much better than what I did. The other thing that I can do, they taught me how to put a picture on the Facebook from my camera on my phone. Yay! I want to keep up with the mayor. So, and I told him that.
Numerous pictures of your
I said,
dogs,
the mayor
that's
always
what
has
everybody else
beautiful
does.
pictures on his, and it's really nice to look at. I have nothing except what I go through. And when I was telling him how I emailed Jeff, and Jeff emails the IT guy, they went, "You've got to be kidding." So some of it still hasn't, because I haven't figured out how to take it off of the inner, like, there's certain things I want to put on that's happening or going to happen, like the flu shots. I haven't figured that part out. But I mean, I was so pleased. I mean, we spent 9 full hours doing it, 1.5 days, and we stayed longer and went longer. Yeah, it was really, we wanted to. Like, you know, when they said, should we break for lunch? Some of us were saying, no, let's finish this right now. And I said, but you'll only have an hour for lunch. Oh, well, we don't care.
It's a long time to learn how to put a picture from your phone on.
Well, I mean,
I thought it was just one button.
I
think it's just one button.
I'm going to do it. Am I going to spend 9 hours? I'm not going to do it.
On myself, I was like,
No, but
button.
there was a lot of, it was fun. It really was.
I'll
It
let
was
somebody
a
else
lot,
do it for me.
there was a lot of explaining of things that, like when he was tweeting something out, and it went out to 37,700 people, and while he was talking and explaining how that just went, he said, now, there's been another 18 tweets come in.
Retweets,
like
you mean?
Probably.
Retweeted?
Well, whatever, in that
Responses.
2 minutes of talk, there was another 18. Like, he was
What's
saying...
so
how
awesome
fast-
about him?
Pardon me?
What's so awesome about this guy? They have 38,000 people.
38,700, his name is Tony, he's a labor
Yeah.
leader,
Oh.
a labor
He's got
leader.
all these
Okay,
points.
okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's why.
All right.
But, I mean, it was interesting, so. Now, guys, we are going to be going into camera, and the only one who has to leave,
Pat,
Yay.
Pat.
banana.
So would someone like to move we go in camera?
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. So all we have to do is wait for Pat and we will begin. Pat, thank you for staying with us.